flavors are great, dude. I'm drinking pina colada, and it's like amazing,
bro.
Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. So I always drink like the cherry blade lemonade is the one that I really like. And then whenever I run out and get them for Caleb, and I always bring him back something feminine like cotton candy, something like that, right? It's all like pink and purple. And I'm like, hey man, here's or what's up? There's another one that's like rainbow unicorn or something like that. Like,
that
hey,
one's crazy, man.
Yep. So Caleb only drinks the feminine colors.
I drink one feminine color. It's the birthday cake bash. It's literally tastes like birthday cake soda. It's like the craziest thing. Like if birthday cake was in a soda, that's what it would taste like. So,
bro,
if anybody wants to try it out, do so. It's amazing.
I love it, man. One of the things when I go, so I've been to a missions trip down in Peru a couple of times, and man, they have a soda down there. It's made by the Coca-Cola company, but I think that's only available in Peru. And gosh dang it, the name of it just totally slipped my mind.
Is it Inca Cola?
Yeah, Inca Cola. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That stuff, like the first time I had, I'm like, this tastes like bubblegum soda.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like yellowish, like not totally like Mountain Dew, like, but
yeah.
But now, like I've been down there a couple of times. Now I love it. Like every time I go there, and like if I drink Inca Cola, I'm like, this tastes like Peru. Like it's amazing.
Here in California, it's easy to find because there's a lot of Latin American markets down here. So bro. Next time you come down, I'll get you a spot. I'll get you some.
Bro, don't mess with me. I will fly out there just to hang out and drink some Inca Cola.
Bro,
I'm not joking.
I got Peruvian restaurants, bro. I know where everything's at.
Bro. All right. We'll talk after the coaching call, but I am freaking down. There's also an ice storm here, so California sounds amazing. All right. Well, guys, man, good to see you guys here this week. In case you guys are wondering, Bang and Inca Cola, two great drinks. I highly recommend. Bang is healthier than Inca Cola for sure. Man, we're gonna dive in. We're gonna talk about some kind of like an Easter plan and what Facebook ads to be running right now. Some of the stuff we hit last week. We're going to talk about a couple of new things here this week. But as always, I want to open it up. Man, let's start with some stories and testimonials. Man, anybody have some visitors this week or pray for some people, suicides prevented, any cool stories that just happened from the last week? Yeah, Josh, what's up, man?
I just love to talk. No, we had two first-time visitors again this Sunday. The one took over 3 weeks of consistently talking and trying to work with the lady to come in. The other one was a possible, and I called her up and I just started chatting and talking and, don't let them talk, just keep going and steamroll them. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to come this Sunday. And I was surprised to see her. We live in the Midwest. It was like 1 degree outside. And a bunch of my seniors didn't come to church because they were like, some of them thought we weren't going to have church because of how cold it was. But if you have an older vehicle, you got to be safe and everything else like that. But here comes these two first-time visitors this last Sunday, just really good. And yesterday, after I was on the Engage conference, they were talking about first-time visitors and like follow up. And I was listening. I was like, let me call my visitors from 2 weeks ago. So I reached out to all my first-time visitors 2 weeks ago. And if you live in the Midwest, first of all, they're new to church, and second, it's snow and it's just cold. I mean, like just stupid cold. No reason for it to be this cold in the central part of America this weekend, possibly like -20 with wind chills. And you're just like, I don't even want to be outside. But they were just so grateful. They never had a pastor reach out to them just for visiting 2 times in a row. And just calling and actually remembering, because of the Facebook ads, I was able to like read through our history again, which gave me a good conversations of what's going on and ask questions about them. Like you said, what's your story? How is your husband doing? How are you feeling? How's that toothache? How are your kids? How's the e-learning and things like that? And just really made a good impact on things as well.
I love it, bro. Love it, man. That's awesome. That's
also,
awesome.
Can we sing happy birthday to Caleb?
Yeah, it was Caleb's birthday last week.
Come on, man. We can all do it together. Let's all sing happy birthday and make him feel awkward. Caleb, have you seen the sun?
What'd you say?
Have you been out in the sun in the last month?
No, I haven't. Isn't that obvious?
So
Can't tell if it's the
I look
Holy
real pale.
Spirit or just you.
we
No.
did fly out to Utah last week, and so he got to celebrate his birthday by going to a 10-hour shoot and so we went and recorded 20 YouTube videos, and
It was glorious.
Yeah, it was glorious, and that's how Caleb spent his day in a huge house, just watching me talking to a camera for 10 hours, which is awesome. I told him not to go. I was like, hey man, you can just stay at home and actually spend your birthday doing something fun, like with your family. But he chose to just come hang out with me in Utah. So then we celebrated the next day by getting him, we DoorDashed some sushi because he'd never had sushi before, which is crazy. I know. I was surprised that he was saved, and it actually made me question his salvation. He may not actually love the Lord if he's never even tried sushi.
No, I think he's smart. I think it's smart, the word you're looking
Sentence
for.
that you make with stalking.
I tell you what, if I don't know who said that he was smart, but you also need. Okay, so Doug, you need to come have sushi with me, bro. I'll introduce you to the good stuff. Right, a lot of it's how you order. So, all right, cool. Do we have any more?
Fried is the word you're looking for.
So
You're fried.
Some of the tempura ones that are fried are good, which is not a bad deal at all. So, yeah, pretty cool. So, all right, man, do we have any more like stories, testimonials, anything that's happened for the past week or two?
I got something.
Yeah, what's up, Sean?
Yeah, it was kind of, I've decided to, talking to Josh a little bit, actually, we've been talking just offline, obviously, but trying to engage people a little bit differently. Yeah, I've been doing this for 10 months, I guess now, almost 11. And, I've had engagement with people, but a lot of times it's just, you pray for them. They say, thank you, you say, you're welcome. Maybe you give an invite, and then that's about it, and sometimes they say thanks and that's it. So I just decided to ask more questions this week, especially with the Discover Your Purpose people who we've been reaching. And had a guy who he didn't like engaging with our bot. He's like, I'm not sharing a prayer request with artificial intelligence. And he was upset when he got the next message inviting him to church. Like, really? Are you kidding me? So I just jumped in, and I was kind, but I was firm. Just said, hey man, I can't be here 24/7. So I'm trying to do the best I can, have this monitoring. But I tell you, I come in here, I could give you 1,000 names of people who I've prayed for. It was meaningful for them. And then he responded with a little different tone, like, hey, I believe you. I think you really care. And next thing you know, he's writing to me about his story and about what he's divorced. And 8 years ago, his wife came home, said she has another man, and she's out, and left him with the kids, left the kids behind. But he might be a believer. He's been in another church for many years, but then through that experience, he's walked away. And so I don't know where he's at just yet. But funny thing is, that was like 3 days ago, we engaged. No, Saturday we engaged. Today, he just messaged me after a lot of conversation back and forth. He's like, all right, let's go to lunch the next couple of days. My treat. So, I mean, we just took that from, very hostile, just because of questions, just because of engagement, because of interest, because of care. And now, I don't know, tomorrow or Friday, probably he'll let me know here pretty quick. Probably we're gonna get together for lunch and talk about the Lord. So I just think if things aren't successful for you, if you're struggling in this, because I felt a little bit like before Saturday, like I've been struggling with this. We had 15 plan your visits. One person showed up, and I did the video on Saturday. I got like 5 people that said, hey, we'll see you tomorrow. They still didn't show up. I was getting a little frustrated, but I changed my engagement, and now I'm going to lunch with this guy tomorrow. So I would just say, if you're frustrated, if you're beating your head against the wall, it's probably you. Like, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just saying, you got to engage differently. You got to figure out, how do I get this person to know? I don't just want them to come to church. I don't want to just cycle through a prayer. I want to actually get to know this person. I want to engage this person. And I told my wife the other day, I said, I got to remember that there's a person on the other end of this message. It's not just an individual, another number that I'm going to try to add to the congregation. It's a person, and we've got to look at it that way. And I know you pushed us that way, but I think sometimes it takes a while for me to get it. So I just thought I'd let you guys all know that.
Man, Pastor Sean, thanks so much for sharing that, bro. That's huge, man. And yeah, I think man, somebody said this recently. It might have been on the call last week. But somebody said, and this is stuck with me, and I've repeated it a million times since then. But it's that every single person is a gift from the Holy Spirit, right? So like every single person that we interact with, regardless of whether or not, right? Because it's so much bigger than whether or not they come to church, right? And I get to that it's hard to think of it that way because you're like, man, we're investing in the program, we're investing money in the ads, and we're trying to reach all these people, right? Like, but understanding that every single person that comes to you is a gift from the Holy Spirit, and it's someone that the Lord has brought to you to shepherd, and they may never step foot in your church, right? I honestly believe with every single fiber of my being that there are going to be hundreds and hundreds of people that are going to walk up to you in heaven because you prayed for them on Facebook. They never came to church. They never did anything, but it planted a seed, right? And we end up like they end up in an eternity with us because you took the time to do that, because you treated every single person like a gift from the Holy Spirit, even if they never engaged with you, even if they never came to church, right? You just never know about the seed that you're planting. So man, thanks for saying that. Just something on a practical level. You mentioned you had 15 planner visits that didn't show up. Did you send the audio prayer to all 15 of those? Okay. And did you call the planner?
Actually, I did a video prayer.
Okay.
You know, I could record a video. ManyChat, you can record a video if you want and attach it. I mean, I had to take my, I had to make it a smaller file. So I had to go like standard definition or whatever on my phone, but I was able to shoot videos. So
Okay.
I did them individually. I did them like, hey, Angela, hey, Kathleen.
Yeah.
And like I said, we got about 5 responses that said they would see me tomorrow. Then one of them showed up. On Monday morning, I went back to everybody who planned a visit, said, hey, good morning, good Monday morning. Just want to let you know, I missed you yesterday, but no big deal. Just want to let you know, we're still praying for you, still connected with you. And a couple of those got back to me. One of them actually told me, she said, you know what, you told me, because I got my flow that I used for that. It was all through a paid broadcast. And so I have in that flow that I send them to, that they plan their visit, something's going to be an obstacle for you. So don't let anything stop you. And she told me Monday, she's like, yeah, you were right. I had a bunch of obstacles happen and I let them stop me. And she said, I'm not going to let them stop me next week. I will see you next Sunday. So, I mean, there's going to be fruit that comes long-term. The lady that did come, we connected with her first last June. I've had probably 5 phone conversations with her since then. She's been watching us online. And actually, it was through a paid broadcast again. What happened was she said, I didn't know you guys were having junior church because I asked you way last summer and you said you weren't. Well, we weren't at the time, but I'm like, we are now. And she said, yeah, I don't want to bring my 6-year-old and make him sit through the service. But if you got junior church, then, and he was the only kid there, but that's okay. We still have somebody ready to do that. And the funny thing is, so this is kind of a side note, but last year we had this 89-year-old lady join our church. Her church was closed. She wanted to be in church, so she started coming to ours. And so she became a member, all of this. She asked my family to lunch on Sunday. So we show up at the restaurant where she invited us to, and guess who she's got there sitting with her? That lady and her 6-year-old, the first time visitor. She invited that lady and a 6-year-old to come have lunch with us. So I had no idea, but I thought that was so cool. Here's this 90-year-old lady who's still ministering, and she's new to our church, and she's ministering to people in our church. She didn't come through Facebook. She came through another means, but God's just providing who we need to minister to the people who are going to reach on the other end. So I just another testimony of God's grace. He's pretty awesome.
Good deal. Say that to me.
Dude, Sean, I love it, man. I love it, man. Great job, bro. That's awesome. That's all. Man, last question. It sounds like you're doing everything right. Are you calling the planner visits within 15 minutes when they come in?
Say that again. Am I doing what?
Are you calling the plan your visits within 15 minutes?
No. But
Yeah.
these were through paid broadcasts.
Okay.
So I didn't ask them. I set up my own flow for that. You can do a paid broadcast and send them to a flow. And so I just set up my own flow, and I didn't ask for numbers. I didn't gather any information. It just was just let them through a flow. So I knew that we weren't going to get, because, basically they could pick not right now, or that sounds great. I knew some people that were going to click on that's great and not come. You just know that, in the moment they're like, yeah, that'd be cool, but they're not planning on really doing it. But I was surprised at the 5 that said on Saturday, we'll see you tomorrow. But again, 2 of them have already reached back to me already. So you know what? God knows. But I mean, I think this engagement, doing this key engagement that I'm doing on the front end, changing how I ask questions, how I get to know people, how I connect with them, even if I delay asking them to come to church for a much longer time, so they don't think that's all I'm interested in, you know? And I think that's key, is we don't want them to think that's all I'm interested in is really praying for you and getting you to church. You know, I mean, I think that's the impression some people were left with. But if you don't personally ask them to come to church so much, but you just minister to them, they might ask you, hey, when are you guys having church? I have had that happen. So just keep that in mind.
Love it, man. Yeah. And again, I can't stress this enough, but I think some of you guys probably heard me tell this story before, but when I was probably 7 or 8 years old, like my neighborhood was like 4 kids. So we were always outside playing sports, right? And so like just depending on what it was, we were always outside playing. It didn't matter if it was snowing or raining, right? Like usually if it was raining, we played football because you can still play football in the rain, no big deal, right? Snowing, raining, didn't matter. We were always outside playing sports. And I remember we were in a field one time, like our normal backyard that we played in, like the parents wouldn't let us for some reason. So we went down to like a field in the neighborhood. We were across the street from this church. And it was a place we didn't normally go in the neighborhood. I remember we're just over there, and there's probably, it's probably 10 or 12 of us, probably 5-on-5, 6-on-6, something like that, which is fairly typical for us. And I remember we were over there. The hardest thing when you're a kid, right, 7, 8 years old, is that like you don't have anyone to call balls and strikes, right, or to say, hey, the runner is out, whatever. And I remember like this older gentleman comes over, like white hair, and he's in a suit, takes off his jacket, and says, hey guys, I'm Pastor so and so. I pastor the church across the street. Man, would you guys like an umpire, right? And we were like freaking out. We were so excited, right? That's like every single day, every single argument comes down to the fact we don't have an umpire. And so he just sat behind home plate and called balls and strikes for, in my mind, it was 2 hours, right? It might've been 20 minutes, right? But like he stood out there for a long time, spending his time calling balls and strikes. A lot of times we disagreed with the call. We didn't care. We were so happy to just have somebody calling something. It's like, if it's questionable, who cares? We got an umpire, right? And I remember afterwards, he just said, okay, man, guys, I gotta get back to the church, man. Thank you so much for letting me umpire your game. And I remember he gave us all, it was like a trifold brochure, right? This is like late 80s, early 90s. But he handed us this trifold brochure and said, hey, give this to your parents. If you guys ever want to come to church, I sure would love to. Yeah, there you go. Pastor Josh has got it. Right. He said, man, I sure would love to meet you and your families. Come any Sunday. I pastor the church across the street. I'm telling you, I've never been to that church. But every single time, and I mean every single time I ever drove by that church, like something like in my spirit, and I didn't even realize this when I was a kid, but like something like I get the chills sometimes. I'd be like, man, what is it about that church? Like, I got to go check out that pastor. Like for years, I never made it there. Like when I was 13, I finally got saved and gave my life to Christ, started going to another church. I'm telling you, I've never forgotten that pastor because he planted a seed in my life. When I go back home, if I pass that church, it's hard for me to pass it without even weeping. And I'm telling you, I can't even explain it. Like I've never met the guy again. I never went to his church. I never went in there, but I'm telling you, he planted a seed when I was 7 years old, right? That ended up when I was 13, I gave my life to Jesus. And I've thought about that guy hundreds, probably thousands of times, right? And at some point, I'm going to get to be able to thank him like in heaven for taking time out of his day to umpire a bunch of like snotty-nosed kids while they're like playing baseball in a field, right? Like, and there was literally like zero benefit to him. But I've never forgotten that. And so I think there's going to be a lot of people that you guys are ministering to that are going to be those types of things. Again, this side of heaven, we're not going to understand what's happening, but God brought them to you for a reason, right? And so some of those times you'll be able to have incredible moments like that where you walk in and meet somebody at lunch and you're like, oh my gosh, here's some, like, there's going to be cool stuff like that. But a lot of times you're never going to know about it. So just one of the word, this is the last thing I'll say, we'll open it up to some Q&A here, but the word that the Lord gave me here a couple of weeks ago, right? Because I was just kind of praying through some stuff. I was kind of going through some stuff personally, and we're just always trying to figure out how to scale, how to help more churches, how to better customer support, right? Like we've got over 400 churches that we built this out for, and we're trying, we're pedaling as fast as we can, right? But emails slip through the cracks, that kind of stuff, and so I'm just always trying to do that. And I was just asking the Lord, and I was a little bit discouraged about some stuff, and the Lord just said, man, Chris, don't get weary in doing good. Just keep going, right? And it was just like, okay. Okay, right? Like, man, just keep going. And I think we all need that sometimes, where it's like, it's just you can't see the forest for the trees because you get sucked into the trees, especially when you got everything that you guys are dealing with on on a basis. I once heard a pastor talk about how it takes 7 years to get over a betrayal, right? So, and any type of betrayal, it takes 7 years. Just modern psychology takes us, on average, it takes 7 years to get over a betrayal. And he said, as pastors, how many times do you think we've been betrayed? You pour your life and soul into a family, and then one day they leave and go to a church down the street for no reason, right? Or their kids just like, they kind of like it over at this youth group better, so we're going to go over there, right? And you're like, I was at the hospital when you guys got in your car wreck. Like, I married your kids. I did, right? Like you pour your life and soul, and then people are like, deuces, right? Like, man, at this church over here, we could actually get out by kickoff. So, we're out. And it's like, so all of that you're carrying with, right. And trying to shepherd well and be a good steward over everything that the Lord has given you. And so, and I want to encourage you guys, right? Like, whether you're brand new to this program, whether you've been doing it for, I don't know, 10 years, like Aaron Butler, right? Like whatever, we've only been doing it for 18 months. So it hasn't been that long, but you've been with me for longer than that, bro. Whatever it is, man, don't get weary in doing good. Just keep going. Right? Just keep pushing through. I promise you're going to see it. And you're going to experience that breakthrough. You're going to see that stuff. And then a lot of it, you're going to see once you get to heaven, but man, just keep going. All right. So, man, let's, Pastor Josh, what's up, bro?
I mentioned I had a verse, and I wasn't going to ask if you wanted me to say it or not, but I was reading someone I was in at a men's study, and I go to men's Bible studies as well outside my church for encouragement. And the verse was in Matthew 21. It says, "And all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing, ye shall receive." If you guys want to see some better returns on your prayer ads, pray like you believe God's going to do something. Aaron told me that a long time ago. And Coach Aaron, he actually mentioned, maybe it was Chris, one, you guys said smile as you're praying, as you're recording. Smile and pray like you believe God's going to do something. Don't pull like your Wednesday night sad, sappy prayer, God's judgment's coming upon the earth. Woe is you as you need food and you're starving. I mean, you are joy. Remember, Christ said, they shall know us by our joy. They'll know us how we love. And when you're praying, that makes a difference. And your voice inflections. And Aaron talked to me a lot about this. He had a phone call with me this year. And thank you once again for that back in July of 2020, encouraged me. And he mentioned like smiling and believing these prayers. And it makes a difference in how people respond. I mean, when they respond back and they're like, thank you so much. I needed that so bad. I mean, it just changes everything. And they start engaging in conversation. So think about how you're praying. Make sure you have time for that. Make sure you actually believe God's going to do something. And that really changes things in your life. And I'll stop right there.
No, that's huge, man. Josh, thanks for sharing that, bro. Man, thank you. All right, let's do this. I don't want to take too much time, but I want to make sure we get all the questions taken care of here. Doug, I know you had a couple of questions. What's up, man?
Yeah, a couple things. We had a little COVID thing go on, hit our family and then the church. So we've been online only for 2 weeks now. We'll be back in person. So I cut the ads way back. And in the middle of that, there's still people coming through on the prayer ad saying, when you're going to have service and that kind of thing. And so we're opening up Sunday, and immediately, there's a couple plan your visits. And so wanted to share that. The second thing is, one of the things I love about these calls and doing what we're doing online is tied to the betrayal. And that is one of the best ways to recover from betrayal is to start focusing on who you're going to reach next, because God gives us joy when we reach the next person. And so that's been a huge thing for me to kind of keep my heart in the right place. My two questions are these. First of all, am I the only one that in Facebook Business Suite, when you go to the ads, the inbox, that you can't see the message thread anymore from those individual respondents? Mine's gone away. So that's it doesn't show me anything. I just got a blank screen next to all the comments off to the side. And then the second question is, we just started the marriage ads yesterday. I was giving myself a little time to recover. And so it looks like nobody's doing anything after the click here response to download or whatever. And I'm just wondering if my bot is stuck, or people are clicking, or they're not clicking, or what's going on there.
Okay, so great question. As far as, let me answer your first question. So like I just pulled up Business Suite and jumped into a church right now. I'm still seeing the whole like the whole conversation in here. So I think
I see it there, but I don't see it on a desktop. Like when I'm on my computer.
Desktop. Okay. Desktop, great question. I never log into Business Suite from desktop, so I don't know if anybody else has been having that. I always do it from my phone. Okay,
no problem.
All right, so we got that. And Coach Aaron, don't let me forget. I'm gonna kick it to you here in just a second. So on the Business Suite, I'm not sure on the marriage thing. Yeah, so here's one of the things. Caleb and I just did this, and we can go in and experiment on yours too, Doug. We just did this on the Discover Your Purpose quiz. We're gonna try this. So I think what we've realized is basically, because all the campaigns have kind of the same framework, right? Where you have some type of ministry hook up front, right? And then we say, okay, great, we're gonna be praying for you. How can we pray for you? Then it leads to plan your visit. What we found is that with like Discover Your Purpose, marriage, even the parenting is the same way. There's not a lot of people are responding to the prayer part, right? Because they basically, their hook, the reason that came them in was like the Discover Your Purpose quiz, right? They got what they wanted. So what we're experimenting with, and I think this is going to help a lot, is just removing that piece where it actually makes it, kick off the next part. So instead of saying like, hey, I'm going to be praying for you for the next week, right? How can I pray for you specifically, right? If they don't answer that, like in Discover Your Purpose, it doesn't kick off the invite or any of the plan your visit stuff, right? So you're still getting a lot of visitors from it, but that comes after like the audio prayer and that kind of stuff. So what we're looking at doing, and this is, we can even do this in your account, is I think if we just take that part off, let's experiment. We can run it for a week or two and kind of see, but I think 2 weeks of data should give us a good idea. I think if we take that part off to where it literally just says, hey, here's the here's the PDF that you can download, right? And then waits like 5 or 7 seconds or something like that, and then just says, hey, by the way, right, we're having church this Sunday. Would you like to come out so we can pray for your marriage in person, right? And at least goes straight into the invite. Then we'll have a lot of people just aren't getting to the plan your visit part. So I'd say let's just go straight to it instead of making it conditional, and we'll delete some of that part. So
I'm good with that. That'd be great.
Okay, perfect. So Caleb, help me remember. Let's try that. We just did that on somebody's Discover Your Purpose quiz yesterday. I think doing that on the marriage one is gonna do well. And then if that's the case, then we'll know. Okay, perfect. We just need to adjust this flow moving forward, and I think it'll work a lot better that way.
Yeah,
Doug, I've already actually changed.
I don't know what.
So that can you hear me? While we were talking, I actually just changed it. Instead of them having to click to go to next steps, it should fire them automatically. So we'll see if that happens, and then I'll also see if I can trigger the prayer flow. Is that what you're saying, Chris?
Yeah. So basically, just like what we did with Discover Your Purpose the other day, where literally like right after it sends the PDF, it just basically says like, automatically kicks off the next sequence. Hey, just want you to know that I'll be praying for you and your marriage, right, over the next few days and weeks, right, and then automatically kicks off the next one. Hey, by the way, we're having church this Sunday. Would you like to come out so we can pray for your marriage in person? Right.
It's a little bit different than Discover Your Purpose, but I think we'll review it together.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we can jump on after this call and figure it out. But yeah, so we'll take care of that today, Doug.
Good. And then the other thing is, I'll probably still jump in and pray and say, hey, I just want to pray for your marriage, even though they didn't ask for a prayer. That'll get the response going and the conversation.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, right? Is if you go in and you're still sending the audio prayer just like you normally would, right? 3-part conversation elevation framework. You're introducing yourself, then you're praying for them, and then you're doing the invite and end it with a question, right? So making sure to still do that, still running the same play. We'll just change it. This should hopefully bring in more plan your visits in addition to the people that are telling you after the audio prayer that they're going to come to church.
Right. That sounds great. Hey, one other thing, just slipped my mind. Oh, I was trying to subscribe to the ad myself, but when I do that, whether it's on my phone or my computer, it just takes me to the messenger where I sent the last broadcast.
Yeah.
So I can't actually do it. So is there any workaround?
Not that I know of. It's really weird. ManyChat has this kind of thing, right? Where especially like with especially like marriage or parenting or any of those different ones that like deliver like a video or a PDF, when you go in and try to do it yourself, for some reason, like it doesn't deliver like the video, or doesn't deliver the PDF or something like that, right? It does on the other end for any end users that are coming in. For some reason, it doesn't for us when we're actually testing it. I don't understand. I think it's just a ManyChat glitch, but the good news is it's still working for everybody else. It just doesn't work when we try to do it ourselves for whatever reason.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Coach Aaron, let me kick it to you real quick. And then Sean, I just saw your question here. We'll address that here as well.
Sweet deal. Everybody hear me? Cool beans. I just wanted to piggyback on something that Chris said when he was talking about how we get betrayed. And you guys know, you come in from going into online and then back, in person, and then some people back online and some people back in person, and trying to figure out how to do all of this. And your team's probably got a bunch of turnover and people that may have been with you for a long time. And I just want to encourage you guys just to maybe change the thinking. And some of you know this, but at the same time, we got to be aware of this. We got to look at people as scaffolding and pillars. Scaffolding and pillars. And pillars are people that are going to come and they're going to stick around for a while. But some of the people are scaffolding, which means that they're only there for a certain season of time to get you to the place where God wants to take you, and then they're gone. They might go somewhere else. And we got to know, because we always say that they're God's people. They're the Lord's sheep and he can send them. But here's the deal. Whenever they leave, it sucks and it hurts, period. Because people don't leave churches. People leave people. We know this. And people are like, oh, it's not personal. It's always personal. Like, let's stop lying. It's always personal, okay? It's the truth. So I don't want to hear none of that. But at the same time, if we treat it as scaffolding, what we'll do is we'll look at everybody who comes in and we'll say, okay, God, I don't know how long they're going to be here. I don't know where they're at in their life, but I promise to give them the best version of me, regardless if they're here for a month, 6 months, a year, 2 years, wherever it is. I'm going to be faithful with that which you've entrusted in me. And if it's time for them to leave, even though it might hurt, even though there's relationships, even though I'm okay with that, God. I ask you to bring pillars, God, people that I ask you to bring pillars of people who will stay with us for the long term. And I ask you to bring people that are scaffolding, that'll help us get to the next level, to the place that you've called us. And if you do that and you have this type of perspective, it's never going to alleviate all the pain. But what it will do is it'll give you a healthy perspective moving forward of how to actually release people, right, into other churches or ministries or whatever. It'll help you release it. And so that way you won't just take on so much of this care and take it on. So what did I do wrong? Or what did I do this? Sometimes it's just the season that they were in. It was just, they were ready to move on. And honestly, maybe God is moving somebody on to bring somebody in that is going to be way better. And you just don't know it right now because you're in a transition moment. I think we are all in transition moments, but at the same time, there are going to be people entering into our relationships and all of that through these prayer ads and whatever. And, if God is doing that in your church, and we need to believe and contend for that and really understand that and really have that type of perspective. And it'll make us healthier. It'll change the way that we see people, and our approach to ministry won't be so guarded. We'll be able to lead with an open heart and give away that which we need and really give hope and healing away to people. So that's really what I wanted to share and piggyback on what Chris said.
Man, I love that, bro. I'm putting that in the comments. Lead with an open heart. I love that, bro. That's really good. Let's see, Pastor Sean. I think we said you're going to be next, right? You had a question about discover your purpose. You said you got people not choosing a shape, so you just respond after giving them time. Introduce yourself personally, praying for them. Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing, right? Like it's weird that somebody would opt in but then not choose a shape, especially since all you have to do is tap on it.
I think some of these people, like Like I've had a few people, oh, I thought it was a spiritual gifts test, or something. So they were expecting something different. It's
Yeah.
not a big deal because it still connects us with them. And that's the whole point. I mean, who cares if they pick a shape or not? I mean, we're just trying to connect. And actually, this has worked pretty well, is telling them the reason why we're doing this. Like, because they might be like, that's stupid. But now when I tell them, hey, I'm just trying to reach into our community. Our church is about helping people be found by Jesus, helping people follow Jesus. And hey, if I can help you with that, no idea where you're at on your journey, but if we can help with that, let me know. Or if I can pray for you specifically, let me know. And I'm getting some pretty good responses out of that. A lot of people go to different churches that are like, hey, I got a great church already, but I really love what you guys are doing. So I'm getting some encouragement back out of that too. So
Love it. Love it. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man. The whole thing is just to connect you with people and get that conversation started. Hopefully they go through the bot, but regardless, right? Just like the prayer ad, you'll see where people, they never actually opt into the bot by saying like, send prayer requests. They just put their prayer requests and then kick off the bot. Then you have to jump in manually and do it. It's the same kind of thing where it's going to happen with all of them. It's just to get you into a personal one-on-one ministry conversation. So you nailed it, man. Pastor Andrew, did you have a question, bro?
Yeah, just talking about what Sean was talking about. I had my youth pastor go through it as soon as he saw the ad on the Discover Your Purpose. And if someone's phone is, if they're on the Facebook app, when they go to Messenger, it goes to the Messenger app. Quite a few years ago, they moved it to a separate app. So they don't always see that. They hit start the quiz, but then of course that takes them to the Messenger, and sometimes Messenger doesn't pop up. So they just keep on scrolling through Facebook. So there may be a day in the future that they go back to their messages, and that's where they're going to see the choose a shape. I have quite a few. I just started Discover Your Purpose yesterday. It was like the prayer ad. I got hit up pretty quick. I got 24 messages yesterday that I've been trying to respond to this morning, but probably 4 or 5 of them are, hey, start the quiz, hit that button below. It says start the quiz and then nothing after that. So some phones may do that. Some phones may not do that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Victor, what's up, man?
Yeah, I had a couple questions on that, on the Discover Your Purpose one too. I had people that were going through it, but I see on the like on the actual desktop, like they pick a shape. It says I pick triangle, but when I hover over it, it says the feature has been disabled. So the people can't go through the quiz, and it's on quite a few. It's on 3 out of 7 that we got, and they're the other 4 that have gone all the way through. But on the 3, it says I pick triangle, but then it says this function has been disabled. And I went into ManyChat to see if it was just a glitch on that end, but it works all the way through. So I don't know how I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if it's broken, or maybe what the pastor said, it's just they were doing it through their phone or something. I don't know.
So are you saying that when you go to your ManyChat account and try it, it works? It just doesn't work on your mobile device when you try it?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the message right now on the desktop, and out of 7 that we got, there's 3 that says I pick triangle, but it says the feature has been disabled. It's very weird, and they didn't complete the quiz. But there are 4 that went all the way through. It's a very odd thing.
So, Victor, is it possible that you guys have an auto or away message set up at night?
You know what? I don't think we do, because I went through the ManyChat and I went through the flow and everything worked fine there. Like I said, it's a weird. I don't know. I don't know if it was a glitch on if they were doing on the device, and then they were, like he was saying with the Messenger, that it just wasn't working that way. But I don't know. Maybe I can screenshot it and then we can talk after. But it was kind of an odd, because it didn't happen to everybody, So I don't know if it's certain people that that they were whatever they were using on.
All right. Well, yeah. Stick around after the call. We'll take a look. I was just looking at. I just clicked on one guy in your account, and afterwards it shot up a message that says, "Thanks for messaging us. We try to be as responsive as possible. We'll get back to you soon." Right. So that's some type of auto message, and a lot of times somebody in your church may have turned that on, and you don't even know about it. And a lot of times it'll only be at night, right? So or something like that, where it'll just display at certain times. So we just need to figure out. The weird thing is Facebook makes it nice and confusing, and they put those types of messages in 3 different spots that you have to check and figure out like how to turn them off. So we can dive in, just stick around after the call. We'll dive in and figure out, because I think that's probably what's happening. That's probably why it's being disabled, is because it's like throwing up the away message or something like that instead of connecting to the bot.
All right. My other question is, at the end of that quiz, it takes you to a video like Rick Warren. Has anybody like done their own video, a version of that, or is everybody sticking to the Rick Warren? Because it's advertising like the Saddleback campuses. So I don't know, like are people sticking to that, or are you doing your own version of that? And then are we able to upload our own version of that if we wanted to?
I did my own version. I'm looking for the link right now, and I'll post it in the chat.
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, if there's anybody else out there that you guys, because I know several of you guys have done that, if you guys could post that in the chat as well, if you don't mind sharing that, just so Pastor Victor can take a look at that. It's probably about 50-50, Victor. Like we've had, so there was Pastor Bogdan's not on here. He was on a couple weeks ago. He mentioned that he did, he actually lives in Southern California. Like their campus is only 10 or 15 minutes away from Rick Warren's. He's like, at first, he's like, I just thought we'd send everybody to Rick Warren's church. He's like, but what I found is actually nobody cares. Like people watch that and then they still interact with our bot and then they show up to church on Sunday. He's like, so just because what he and I were talking afterwards. So he goes, man, I can't explain it as well as Rick Warren can. Right. So he just left it. So it's probably about half and half. There's a lot of guys on here who've created, 5 or 10 minute videos where they kind of explain it and do a phenomenal job. So I think it's kind of one of the 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Right. Like I think you'll still see plenty of people come out because of the personal connection. If you do it that way, if you're sending the Rick Warren video, or if you guys just want to go in and create your own video, all you have to do is go in there, have Pastor Andy shoot his own video, right? And then you guys just upload it to YouTube or Vimeo and then just send us the link. And then we'll swap it out in the bot. So that's super easy. It looks like Pastor Doug and Pastor Sean both just put their videos in the chat if you want to check those out. So yeah, man. Doug said, I've had 308 hits on my purpose video. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Crushing the game, man. Think about it. Those are 308 people you wouldn't have connected with, right? Who are not because those are people who live within driving distance of your church, who are trying to figure out their purpose or find their calling or figure out what's next. Dude, that's huge, man. I love it.
Or 150 of them are guys from the ads. I'm not sure, but anyway.
I love it, dude. Love it. All right, man, we have any other questions about the ads or any of the sequences or campaigns or anything? Going once, going twice. All right, so Pastor Andrew, what's up, bro?
I may just be missing it, but the downloads for not the Discover Your Purpose, but like the 21-day marriage and all of that, I haven't run those ads yet, but where are those stored? I could just be completely missing it. Where can I see those PDFs myself?
Yeah. So
do you have access to your, if you can get into your ManyChat account, go to manychat.com.
All right.
Go to automations.
All right.
And then I think it's say you ought to have a folder that might have upgraded it. And then click on Marriage Challenge.
Yeah.
So as you're looking at that flow, you ought to see the PDF. If you click on it, it'll open.
In the flow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All righty. I'll look for it. I had tried clicking on it before and just nothing was coming up. So I don't know if it's because I haven't went live with it yet or.
No, it's in there. Let's see, it's.
I can get with you later then. Hey, just a quick comment about what Victor was saying. Again, I just started mine yesterday, but all of mine, Victor, say that same thing. The feature has been disabled when I scroll over it, like pick a triangle, all of their options. I went to someone a little bit smarter, I guess, than Chris and Caleb, and that was Heather. And she just said that was because of your side, because it's us, that's what we see. But they were still able to click through those. I think once they've chosen one, you can't go back and change it maybe. That's why it just says disabled.
Heather is much smarter than both of us, so that's very fun.
Yeah, both of us combined, actually. I was going to do this real quick. Andrew, this is your flow, Cardindale. So I went to this upgrade ministry package, click on marriage challenge, and then click on edit. And then from there, if you click on that, you can open it. Did that help you? You're muted. I'm gonna assume yes.
Hey, Caleb, I did that and it just pulls up my Finder like it wants to look for a folder.
I think that's a save as. Should be anyway.
It's not doing the save as. There's some, oh, there it is. There's a download the file. There it is. Yeah, I had to click a little bit, but I got it.
Got it? Okay.
Here's something too. If you guys, one of the things that sometimes, and somebody just put this, I think in the comments here a second ago. Whenever you have something that looks like it might not be working, right? It's usually one of two things, right? Sometimes it could be something. It's very rarely that the bot breaks. It's usually, and I mean like 1 times out of 1,000. Like it's really rare. Usually, what happens is either like number one, like they're not opting in, so it's not triggering the next sequence, right? Which again, is just kind of Facebook's rules. If they don't click on something, we can't deliver the next thing. Kind of like the prayers when they don't opt in at the beginning and they just post a prayer request instead of clicking on send prayer request. So it's usually something like that. Or sometimes again, we kind of talk about like the API between ManyChat and Facebook. It's basically a handshake, right? And so like when you click that magic button, the refresh permissions button, right? Sometimes that handshake just kind of like gets frayed or it's not connecting right. And so when you click refresh permissions in your settings, it just reconnects that handshake and makes everything good. So a lot of times, if something's being a little funky, if you just click on refresh permissions, a lot of times that'll fix it. So that's normally, just so you guys know, like whenever someone's like, hey, take a look, we're not sure what's going on. That's the first thing I try is I go in and click refresh permissions, and probably 8 times out of 10, that fixes whatever the problem is. So that's always a good thing. In fact, ManyChat started sending emails, right, that literally just say, hey, looks like the page has been disconnected. Nothing to worry about. Just click refresh permissions and it'll fix everything. All right. So you guys probably even seen those emails coming recently.
I was actually going to show you this. They actually it's so common now that they've added it at the bottom. Like as soon as you open it up, if you just click on help, there's a refresh permissions button right there. Like you don't even have to hunt anymore. It's such an issue that you just, yeah. So you go to your page and click on help. It's right there.
And look, we didn't make up the term magic button. ManyChat is the ones who say, literally, this is the magic button, right? It fixes pretty much everything. So that's always the first place to check. All right, cool. Do we have any other questions or anything here?
I would just say one thing as far as like the Discover Your Purpose ad, because me and Caleb went through it because I had people who were clicking triangle and like so many people who pressed the triangle shape did not want to complete it. So I was like, this is crazy. But then the triangle is the leadership. So people who are in leadership is like, I don't have time for this stuff. I don't want to do it. Whatever. So here's the deal. So think through who you're talking to. If they press triangle, they're a leader. So you know what? You might want to get to the point. If you're going to pray directly, right? If they're a squiggly line, you can pray a lot longer prayer and go into detail. Why? Because they probably got time for it. You know what I'm talking about? So think through who you're talking to. They're laughing here because they know it's true. So think through who you're talking to and create a prayer or a narrative around how they want to be invited to church. It might be directly. It might be that. So just think through that, like how you would want, maybe what shape you would pick, and do that. Okay, just
nailed it, bro. That's awesome. That's awesome. For those of you guys that are new to the program, Aaron's a coach, and that's why, right? He's been with us for a long time, and he drops not nuggets but solid gold bricks like that right there. All right. So, man, let's pray and get out of here. If you guys have any other questions, obviously we'll be doing this again, same time, same place next week. Let me make sure to say this. We cover this every week, but I want to make sure in case anyone has been on the last couple of weeks. So if you have the full build out, meaning you have the prayer ads, Discover Your Purpose, 21-day marriage challenge, the parents and young families, entrepreneurs, and the 30-day Bible challenge. If you have all 6 of those campaigns, what we found works the best is what we call campaign stacking, right? So when you actually leave the prayer ad on, but then you're running a second campaign, you're splitting your budget between the two. Right now, for the month of February, we're recommending running your prayer ads along with the 21-day marriage challenge, right? Just praying for marriages and that kind of stuff all the way through February. Then March 1st, as soon as February is over, keep the prayer ads on, turn off Discover Your Purpose, turn off the marriage ads and turn Discover Your Purpose back on, because you're going to want to ride that momentum Discover Your Purpose all the way up to Easter. Then the day after Easter, you're going to leave your prayer ads on, turn off Discover Your Purpose, and turn on the parenting one, right? And then we're going to take that all the way up into Mother's Day. And then we're going to have, then we'll have a custom plan for how to punch the summer slump in the face, back to school, fall festival, all the way through the fall. But for right now, you want it for February, run Discover Your Purpose and prayer. For February, run prayer and marriage. For March, run prayer and Discover Your Purpose. And then leading up to Mother's Day after Easter, you want to run prayer and Discover Your prayer. Good gracious. I apologize. Prayer and parenting. So marriage, Discover Your Purpose, parenting over the next couple of months. All right. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out to Heather. Otherwise, we'll be doing this this next week here as well. So, man, Pastor Andrew, will you pray for us, bro?
Yes, sir. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we love you. Thank you for the opportunity to get together with these guys and just discuss church life. Lord, we're thankful for the ministries that you've given us and allow us to be a part of. Lord, wherever they are, Lord, maybe they needed to hear today that some are pillars and some are scaffolding. And Lord, they just needed that encouragement today. Or Lord, maybe they just needed the encouragement of hearing stories of a pastor years ago during a baseball game umpiring, or whatever those things are that help us to be able to be the best that we can next week. Lord, I pray that opportunities like this help us out. Lord, give us a good